For many adults over the age of 64, daily movement has become a symbol of responsibility. You wake up, follow your routine, go for a walk, maybe stretch a little, and tell yourself you are doing the right thing. And in many ways, you are. Movement keeps the heart healthy, the joints lubricated, and the mind calm. But there is a quiet misconception that often goes unchallenged until it is too late. The belief that movement alone is enough to preserve independence. After 64, the goal of exercise must change. It can no longer be focused only on activity or endurance. At this stage of life, exercise becomes a safeguard against dependency. It becomes the difference between navigating your environment freely and gradually withdrawing from it. In clinical settings, we repeatedly encounter individuals who appear active on paper. They walk daily. They remain busy, yet they struggle with tasks that define independence. Standing from a low chair, climbing steps without holding a rail, or regaining balance after a sudden shift in footing. These struggles do not arise from laziness or lack of effort. They arise from missing strength patterns that walking simply does not train. The hidden strength decline. After 64, aging does not weaken the body evenly. Certain systems decline faster, particularly those responsible for power, balance, and rapid force production. These systems are controlled by fast-reacting muscle fibers and precise neurological coordination. Unfortunately, these are also the systems least stimulated by repetitive, low-intensity activities. One of the most affected regions is the hip complex, especially the gluteal muscles. These muscles form the structural foundation of upright posture, walking stability, and fall prevention. When they weaken, the consequences ripple outward, to the knees, the spine, and even the neck. Walking on flat surfaces places minimal demand on these muscles. The body adapts by doing only what is necessary. Over time, the nervous system stops prioritizing glute engagement. The muscles are still there, but they are no longer fully recruited. This is why many older adults develop a shortened stride, forward-leaning posture, and cautious gait despite remaining active. This process is gradual, almost invisible, but once a fall occurs, the loss of confidence can be immediate and profound. Why independence depends on strength, not endurance? The ability to live independently after 64 depends on a few critical physical skills. The ability to support body weight on one leg. The ability to generate force upward. The ability to stabilize laterally. The ability to coordinate movement without hesitation. These are not endurance skills. They are strength and control skills. Cardiovascular health keeps you alive. Muscular strength keeps you autonomous. The good news is that strength is highly trainable at any age when the correct movements are used. The body does not require extreme intensity. What it requires is precision, consistency, and intent. Movement. 1. Step-ups for vertical strength. Stepping upward is one of the most demanding tasks the human body performs in daily life. Unlike walking, stepping up requires lifting the entire body against gravity using a single leg. This action forces the hip, knee, and ankle to work together in perfect alignment. For adults over 64, the ability to perform a controlled step-up is a strong predictor of functional longevity. It reflects not only muscle strength but neurological coordination and balance. The emphasis here is not speed or height, it is control. Placing one foot on a low step and pressing through the heel teaches the body to generate vertical force safely. This stimulates the muscles responsible for hip extension and reinforces bone strength in vulnerable areas of the femur. Without this vertical loading, everyday environments become obstacles. Curbs feel intimidating. Stairs become avoided. the world slowly flattens. Practicing step-ups restores confidence in upward movement and keeps the lower body prepared for real-life demands. Movement. 2. Standing hip extensions to restore posture. As people age, prolonged sitting and reduced movement variety cause the front of the hips to tighten. This pulls the pelvis forward and limits the ability of the leg to extend fully behind the body. The result is a shortened stride and increased strain on the lower back. Standing hip extensions address this problem directly. By standing tall and gently extending one leg backward without arching the spine, the body relearns proper hip mechanics. This movement reactivates the gluteal muscles and counters the forward collapse that often appears after 64. This is not about lifting the leg high. It is about restoring balance between the front and back of the body. When the hips extend properly, posture improves, walking becomes smoother, and the lower back is relieved of excess workload. Many cases of chronic back discomfort in older adults are not spinal problems at all. They are compensation problems caused by inactive hips. Movement. 3. Glute bridges for spinal protection. Lower back pain is one of the most common complaints after 64. Yet, in many cases, the spine itself is not the primary issue. The real problem is insufficient support from the muscles that should be carrying the load. Glute bridges retrain the body to use the hips as the engine of movement. By lying on the back and lifting the pelvis upward, balance is removed from the equation. This allows full focus on muscle activation. The glutes must engage to lift the hips, and the spine is allowed to remain neutral and decompressed. This movement teaches the nervous system a new firing order, one that prioritizes the hips over the lower back. Over time, this reduces strain on the lumbar spine and improves overall movement efficiency. For many older adults, glute bridges become the turning point between chronic discomfort and renewed confidence. Movement. 4. Seated hip abductions for fall prevention. Not all falls happen forward. In fact, lateral falls are among the most dangerous, particularly because they often result in hip fractures. The muscles responsible for preventing sideways collapse are small, often overlooked, and rarely trained through walking. Seated hip abductions isolate these critical stabilizers safely. By sitting upright and pressing the knees outward against gentle resistance, the side hip muscles are activated without balance risk. These muscles are responsible for keeping the pelvis level when standing on one leg and for correcting balance during unexpected shifts. When these muscles are weak, the body cannot react quickly enough to stop a sideways fall. Strengthening them increases the body's ability to recover from slips and trips before impact occurs. This movement may appear subtle, but its protective value is immense. Movement 5. Supported split squats for real-life strength. Daily life is rarely symmetrical. We step, turn, and shift weight unevenly. Over time, one leg often becomes stronger than the other. The stronger leg compensates, hiding weakness until a critical moment arrives. The supported split squat removes this compensation. By positioning one leg forward and the other behind, and lowering the body under control, each leg is forced to work independently. Balance, strength, and coordination are challenged simultaneously. For adults over 64, this movement rebuilds trust in individual limbs. It improves proprioception, the body's awareness of position, and reinforces joint stability under load. Mastering even a shallow version of this movement dramatically reduces fall risk and restores confidence in daily tasks. Redefining exercise. After 64. After 64, exercise is no longer about aesthetics or endurance milestones. It is about maintaining the ability to live life on your terms. Strength training at this stage is not aggressive. It is deliberate. It is focused on movements that prepare the body for real-world demands rather than controlled environments. The body remains remarkably adaptable. With consistent, targeted practice, strength, coordination, and balance can improve well into later decades of life. What matters is choosing movements that challenge the systems most vulnerable to aging. Walking remains valuable, but it must be supported by strength. Final perspective. Independence is not preserved by habit alone. It is preserved by intention. By practicing these 5 essential movements, step-ups, hip extensions, glute bridges, hip abductions, and supported split squats, you are not simply exercising. You are reinforcing the physical systems that allow you to stand tall, move confidently, and respond effectively to the unpredictability of daily life. This is not about pushing limits. It is about protecting freedom. Strength is not something you lose because of age. It is something you lose when you stop asking your body to use it. And at 64 and beyond, that question becomes more important than ever.